What's going on, man? Cool. I'm Soapy. Obviously, we've been talking a little bit.
That's Dan.
Yep. And then, so I'm Dan. I know you're talking to my co-host Soapy, but yeah, thank you for coming on. By the way, appreciate your time. Man. I know you're a busy dude.
No problem. Like you guys. You guys are fun. I like to have fun.
Good to hear. Yeah.
This day and age, you want to have as much fun as you can, right? So
yes, I would agree.
Speaking of fun, I think I'd have a lot of fun wearing that sweatshirt that you've got. So we'll send you our mailing address. You want to send some swag our way?
I'm going to think about what we got in storage. If we have, we got like 1,000 of these. I got you guys. No worries.
All right, we're back. Morse Code Podcast, episode 58. We've got a very special friend of the program, our newest friend.
New friend of the program,
yeah. Yeah. The president and CEO of the NBA Retired Players Association, Scott Rochelle. How we doing?
What's up, Scott? Glad to have you on.
You know what? Like I said, it's good to have a little fun on a conversation like today. There's a lot going on right now, but I'm looking forward to it.
What's going on right now?
Yeah, I've been asleep.
Is someone playing tonight? Yeah. I've been turned on my cable since like Tuesday mid-afternoon.
I'm telling you, I'm gonna put my phone down. I'm off all social media until something happens of something.
Seriously. Dude, it's funny. I was talking to my wife last night, and we missed out on March Madness, obviously, because of the virus. And I swear, dude, like I'm seeing like Nevada, Arizona, like all these states. I'm like, bro, this is the closest thing to March Madness we've had since March Madness of 2019.
No, for sure. And, it's like we're waiting on these results to come in and we're going back and forth. But, it's over. And, it's just dragging out the inevitable. And so, first night, go to bed, you're just like, man, here we go again. And, I'm not going to make any, any mystery of where my allegiances are.
Right.
I went to bed thinking, damn, we got to do another 4 more years of this. And then it's like, oh, wake up, check your phone. It's like, wait, hold up, something may shift here. About 7 a.m. It's like, oh, here we go. We're back in it. So it's all the same emotions from like Final Four and your team's in it. You know what I'm saying? You're down by 12 points with 2 minutes left, and next the threes start dropping. So
they go on a little run. Yeah.
Look, I think where we are right now, again, I'm turning the phone off. I'll come back when there's something to be said because all the news reports are basically saying the same thing. Breaking news, we don't know yet. Breaking news, they're still counting. It's like, God, here.
We'll know after the break.
Right,
exactly.
For sure.
No, without getting too into it, I think I'll just leave it here. I think it sounds like we're all on the same page as far as without going too into it. Yeah,
that's good because I was about to log off real quick.
Yeah, I need to switch my hat. My bad. Hold on, let me get my.
Yeah, there's a reason I have a blue microphone. Okay.
Yeah, you pull that little red hat out. Yeah, you'll see me for the next year. All right.
Anyways, Scott. So obviously, they introduce you, but for anyone who's not familiar, we were really just interested to begin with how you got to where you are. Well, besides the fact that you and I both got to the final interview and you somehow beat me out for CEO, which is whatever. We shook on it afterwards. It's cool.
Yeah,
but
no hard feelings.
For anyone that doesn't know, tell us a little bit about what you do and what you guys been up to lately with us being in such a fucked up year.
Yeah, no doubt. Look, again, I appreciate being here. I'm fortunate to be in the position I'm in. I run the NBA's not-for-profit for retired NBA, WNBA players. And most people probably haven't heard of us in our traditional NBRPA terms, but you've probably heard of legends and what we do in the media space. We're working with some great talent now, doing a lot of digital stuff, just getting the word out and having fun with it. The retired players have always been active in so many different things around basketball, but as we get more and more of our guys active, the Karan Butlers of the world, the Grant Hills, Sean Marions, and they're doing more and they're representing us, we're more visible. So, right now it's been a fun ride for us to be able to ride the wave of digital and getting more eyeballs. Unfortunately, it comes at a price because we had to go through, a global pandemic to kind of get here. But, we're doing so much in the community with regard to, our chapter program. We got 12 chapters around the country, all led by players. We've always done outreach for the community, for our players. We're doing transition work for the guys and ladies who leave the game. Look, so much life to live, right? You retire at 32. You've got your entire life ahead of you. What's next? What does it look like? interest inventories around that space to make sure people know what their purpose is.
Mm-hmm.
We talk about leaving the game. That's their life. They've been at the very top of their game and in basketball from being a small child all the way through adulthood, and then it stops.
Yeah.
No one stops basketball unless you're one of the top 3 players. No one stops when you want to. No one just has their press conference and has their wife and kids next to them and cries it out. Most of the time, those tears come behind closed doors when someone's told you it's over, we don't want you anymore. What does that look like for our players? It's rough. It's a complete transition, identity crisis. So we're building a community. And so we're making sure everybody knows that once you're done playing, you're still part of the NBA. You're still part of a family, still part of a team. And we're just building that team up, having a lot of fun doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it's a pretty comprehensive approach. And I was listening to your first appearance on Mixtape. I think it was back in 2018. Those are some guys that we listen to quite a bit. Mm-hmm. By the way, Dan and I do a lot of research, so like I know if you want to throw out a compliment about how professional and prepared we were, like save it for the end. Okay. But no, I remember one of the things that you said in one of those interviews was just that it's not about, before it was almost like looked at as a recovery thing, like helping guys who are kind of down on their luck or in a tough spot. And now you've made the shift to make it so that it's just, all right, the basketball, the playing portion of your life is now over. Let's see like what the next steps are. Let's help you get invested in whatever financial ventures. I know you had mentioned, guys going into broadcasting. So it's good stuff.
Yeah, and it starts before you're done playing. And so the awareness factor we have now is showing the guys who are successful, who's got a good business going, who's been franchising, who's investing, who's doing the things that you may want to do when you're done playing. Let's bring them to the forefront. Let's show them, show their success, show what they're doing, and then have them talk about how they got there. That's the piece that's really focused, that we're focusing on, so that no one leaves the game kind of going, oh shit, where am I? What's next? Who do I call? We want you to know who to call. And even if it's one of the players who's involved with us, who's doing all that work, that's great. Because once they call the player, that player gets me on 3-way. And I'll tell you, the guys we have right now, they're tremendous at this. Even like Mario West over at the NBRPA, constantly connecting with guys who are calling the PA saying, hey, I'm done. I need to know what's next for me. Connection, services, all the things we need to do. The onboarding process is getting even quicker with regard to all the digital work we're doing and getting up to speed. And, a mobile app is coming next for our players to have that community. And so it's a constant process to make sure everybody knows where home is, and then making home as comfortable and as supportive as possible.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting too, because retirement in pro sports is so different from retirement in virtually everything else. Retirement in pro sports is like 30, like if you're lucky for some people, it's not 65. It's, and it's, from a fan's perspective, like from my perspective, it's interesting because these dudes retire, and unless you're one of the lucky guys, like you mentioned, who gets into a high profile job like broadcasting or coaching or something like that, we don't know what happens to these guys. They could be working at Lowe's for all we know. Like, who knows? You know what I mean? So it's nice to have this resource, if that's the right word for it, to kind of help transition. Because I would assume most players aren't thinking like this, into year 3, 4, 5 of their NBA career. They're not thinking what's next when they're 25 and signing their first non-rookie contract and shit like that. So it's a phenomenal resource from what it sounds like, man. It's really, really good things.
No, it is, and it's exciting to be a part of. But I want to kind of jump into that, because there's a shift happening where there are more and more players thinking about it. No one wants to think about the end. Nobody's thinking about the end. So the best part is, let's get started now while I'm playing. So now you hear about the players with their production companies.
Yep.
Their the business, and
it's cool now. It used to be not cool. Like, now it's cool to have outside ventures of basketball, even if you're not LeBron or KD with. They have big profile things going on, but even for the average guy that you probably work with, yeah, definitely.
But making it cool was deliberate. And I give all the credit in the world to the players who knew what they were doing. Mm-hmm. They knew that, hey, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to show everybody. I'm going to make sure a press release goes out to say, I've invested in this company. Mm-hmm. I'm involved in this tech firm. or I'm doing these different things so that everyone else can see it and they lead the right way. I mean, because really it's about leadership. It really is about who in that locker room is the person who everyone's going to follow. Same thing with our organization. It's a locker room. So those who get out there and lead, other players are going to look at them, they're going to follow them. And knowing that is important because it makes sure your steps are measured.
Yep.
And you're doing the right things. You're looking backwards and pulling people with you. And so 10 years ago, we couldn't have this conversation. I'll tell you that right now.
Yeah.
10 years ago, we were going and pulling guys out of bad situations. We were fielding phone calls of all the despair in the world. And it's like, I mean, how do we get around this when that's not the full narrative? And it was all about the active players deciding that they were going to be the ones out front. I mean, you have to admit, all the leadership you see right now with the active NBA players is unprecedented, and it's almost otherworldly when you see not just the activism, but the impact that it has.
Yeah,
for sure.
LeBron, CP3, I think Iguodala is a pretty big voice. So yeah, definitely the stars are pulling their weight for sure. Question, Scott, where is like the home base, or where are you guys located? Because I know you're a Chicago guy, right?
Yeah. So our main office is in Chicago. We moved out of New York about 2011. I wanted to be more, centralized, and it's home base for me. I was practicing in a law firm in Chicago, and around 2011, a new CEO took over. Wanted to move to Chicago. We connected through some mutual business partners, and broke out a deal and said, hey, if you move to Chicago, we're already here. We're doing the legal work. Come on into our office. Well, we have 8 offices that are free. And that's how it really started. It's kind of started for me as well. I mean, I was outside legal counsel representing, football players, some basketball players, and then doing some pro bono work for associations. And so bringing this association on as a client was huge for us. We were breaking even every year. But I think the association was at a point where it needed a lot more hands-on with regard to governance and structure. The CEO who hired me to come on was basically tasked with, all right, we have a great association. How do we make it as professional as possible? So as a lawyer, I was much more involved than you probably wanted a lawyer to be in your association, but it was all part of a plan to kind of put some things together. Now in 2020, we've put all those things together and we're looking towards the future. Like, okay, everything's in place. Everything's good right now. Now, where do we go next? How do we build this, and how do we make it more relevant? And so, it's been a journey. I'll tell you, next year will be my 10th year with the association all in. I think I joined as a full-time employee in 2013, became interim CEO 2017, and then early 2018 got the job. And I look back and I'm just like, man, if someone had actually figured out that I was getting paid to do this, boy, everybody would be in trouble. But it's good stuff. And again, the association, I'm so thankful to have the opportunity with the association. But the association is the players. And again, we recorded today with Karan Butler on our Legends Live podcast, and I'm buzzing off of that because Karan has done so much work. Like we keep saying, former All-Star and NBA champion Karan Butler. That conversation is going to change moving forward for me, because now I'm going to say community organizer, political activist Karan Butler, because he worked his ass off in Wisconsin. And when you look at Wisconsin flipping over blue, that wasn't without grassroots work. And, for the past, 6 to 8 months, when you see Karan, he's been in Wisconsin. He hasn't been in LA where his home base is. He set up home base in Wisconsin. That's real work. That's real activism. That's real putting your money where your mouth is. And so, that gets me going. It gets me really fired up. And I'm fired up right now because we had a chance to talk to him about it. Tyler and Karan had a great conversation, and you felt the passion coming out of him. And it's like, damn, all right, if he's going to do that, how am I going to be better in what I do to make sure that I'm taking the association to the next level? It's all exciting. It really is.
No, it definitely is. And what was I going to say? It actually reminded me, I did a quick question for you. So that, and I did watch at least the beginning of the Karan Butler conversation tonight or this afternoon, whenever it was, which was great. But you mentioned, all this great resource it is for players. When is this idea or this resource you guys have, when is this like introduced to players? Because I assume coming out as a draft pick, they probably have no idea what the hell this is. You know what I mean?
And they don't want to know about it. Look, 18, 19 years old, you don't want to hear it. You don't want to hear shit about retirement. Right?
I'll call you in 30 years. Yeah.
I'm going to have a 25-year career.
Yeah.
I'm going to play forever. All that, get out of my face. And so we stopped doing that. We stopped with the sit down in a room, talking about what retirement is as their eyes glaze over and they're on their phones. And we stopped all of that.
Well, I was going to say, so it's not just part of like open enrollment season, like at any other like company.
No, you know what?
Filling out your benefits.
In all fairness, there are those sessions and there are all those conversations that happen.
Yeah.
Do I believe those are the sessions that really work for this? No. Yeah. I'll tell you, but I'll tell you straight up, the biggest thing we can do is have our players out front, being very visible, and that's what's happening now. So our quarterly magazine, it goes to all the locker rooms, all the players see it. That's one touch point. But again, they're seeing the guys who they looked up to, and some guys who they played with, out there doing great things. When they do it, they're flying our flag. That's what makes the players aware of the Retired Players Association, the great things it can do for you. Again, nobody wants to be told about what happens when they retire, because we stopped using the R word. Although it's in our formal name, we don't say retire. We say former player, because retirement is for 65 and up. Yeah. You don't retire from the game. You transition out of the game. You end that chapter of your life, but then you become a whatever else you're going to be. Whether it's just a dedicated dad or a broadcaster or a coach or, investor, financial advisor, accountant, who knows, who cares? It's up to them to decide what they want to do, but they're definitely not retiring. They're just turning the page.
That's actually a good point too. We're focusing this conversation on what do you want to do career-wise after basketball. I'm sure for some people it's just, now maybe I want to spend some more time with my kids. Now maybe I want to be a better husband. Now, what the fuck do I do? I'm not on a plane 40 times a year. Right. What now? So That's cool, man. That's very, I think you used the word earlier. It's a very powerful resource for a lot of these dudes.
For sure. And, look, we're not going to give up on, the structure of trying to present the programs and things to players, but I just really feel like the power of all of this is in the leadership of players, like pushing it back on the players. Every time you hear me talk, I'm going to push it back on the players because they're the ones who are out there doing all of this. I spent the first 5 years of my time with this association running in the roadblocks with, hey, join the Retired Players Association. You should join. Well, why should I join? And I'm trying to tell a 32-year-old about programs that were set up for guys who are 55 and 60. Like, we got AARP with us.
I was just gonna say, it's like when I get the AARP shit in the mail, it's like, no. No.
It's not working, right?
No. So 30 years old, bro. Come on.
So the goal now is to create a situation where people are calling us saying, hey, I heard y'all passed out checks last week for royalties. Oh, word? Yeah. And I'm looking at my list, and you need to sign up so you get your paid. People leaving money on the table by not getting involved with us. We have a really nice deal with the NBA where we're paying out all the royalties, almost all the royalties for all the 2K games. Think about that. Why are you not in the game? Why have you signed? It's just simply signing paperwork, things like that. So we want to create the I guess the brand awareness to where people are calling us instead of us calling them. And we've seen that now.
Yeah.
How much would I have to pay to be in the game?
So how tall are you?
Oh, that's a private question. Right. Man. That's like asking who I'm voting for. No. I'm a good 5'7", at least.
Dan, I think he answered the question.
Next question.
Yeah, okay. I think you already answered it.
Got you.
Moving on.
All right.
Muggsy Bogues pre-app.
Yeah.
No, what I was going to ask you, Scott, is are there any players where, like, when they're done playing, and we won't use the R word now, but when they're done playing, you actually have to file papers to officially retire, right?
So yeah, to officially retire for like pension and benefits purposes with the NBA, there's paperwork you fill out. You can join our association while you're playing. There's nothing official about retiring with us because we don't pay pension, we don't do the health care. I mean, so we do licensing royalties and other benefits.
Yeah.
So, there are players now who are playing right now who have signed up with us saying, all right, when I'm done, it's going to be just a smooth, easy transition. And there are players who walk away from the game who've never filed paperwork. It's just, just depends on how you want to do it.
That's what I was wondering, because I was wondering is if there's a list and it's like,
Rasheed Wallace
99
is
out of
still
100
waiting on his
people.
paperwork.
Yeah, but Vince Carter, for some strange reason, still just hasn't filed. Like, is he coming back? Is this Brett Favre or what's going on here? But
hey, look, as much as a player may want to say, I'm not going to retire, I'm not going to file my paperwork, the decision 9 times out of 10 is not theirs. And so I think that's why we get into so much of the back and forth with players who are done or coming back, and they're going to make a comeback, or they still got some gas left in the tank. That's not their decision. 9 times out of 10, it's not.
Well, there has to be
that decision is made for them, right?
Right.
So, it gets tough for them.
There has to be some legal document that defines you either as a free agent or as a retired player. Because you brought up 2K, and I'm just thinking 2K. Like, when you do like a fantasy draft in 2K, there's still dudes like, once you get to like the 7, 8, 10, 11 round that are in there, and it's like, oh shit, like I thought this guy was retired. Like, I'm trying to think of an example, but
Isaiah Ryder.
Yeah, I'll draft him.
What's he doing in here?
Exactly.
Yeah.
But no, it's interesting, and that must be. I mean, you brought up. I just thought this was funny. You brought up the word pension earlier. So, like, do these, like, when these guys are? This just sounds so silly saying, like, when I become like drafted and employed by like the Cleveland Cavaliers, like, do I just every November I opt in for here's what I do for my medical plan, my dental plan, my 401k, my pension.
Yeah, the NBA is a corporation, man.
Yeah,
look, they got
That's crazy.
It's so weird.
Everything in sports, we talk about sports business and all that.
Yeah.
It's the same like Microsoft or any other company.
Yeah.
You've got accountants, you've got HR, you've got everyone who runs it, and there's an entire business side that people just don't see, they don't assume, but it's a very well-oiled, sophisticated machine, and part of our job is to take a lot of that paperwork and all the other things and demystify it for the player.
Yeah. No,
cool. They had a business manager or their wife or someone who's managed it their whole life. Yeah. So they come to us and like, all right, well,
now what do I do?
A conversation today, literally a conversation today with a guy who was referred to us, and he says, all right, I'm done. What do I do next? So I have like form emails set up. Hey, here, we'll click this link. We'll do this. We'll do these couple things. Again, players aren't dumb. They're not.
Right.
They just haven't been exposed to like the basic things that some of us do on a regular basis, because their focus is on ball.
Yeah.
In order to be an NBA player, your focus has to be on the game.
Yep.
And as soon as you get to a certain level, and that level is probably like middle school now, people are handling everything for you. They want to make sure your focus is on the game. And unfortunately, some people want to make sure that their focus is on a segment of your life where you're needed, right? And so the endorsements, boom, accounting, all this, everything's handled for you. Once you're done playing, those people go away.
Yeah.
And so the ones that the ones that hang on, God bless them, because we work with a lot of them as well. But that's done. So the player's going, okay, everyone's gone. What's next for me? And where do I go from here? That's where we come in, and that's where we really fill that gap.
Trust me, I can definitely relate. Like, when I was getting up there in my intramural bocce ball league, Scott, and people were trying to get at my pockets left and right. And eventually, once I hung it up, I was like, "Oh, that's funny. Everyone disappeared."
So at 5'7" bocce ball, I'm thinking you were still kind of a walk-on, right?
He was.
No. Full scholarship.
You got a full? Damn, son.
There it is.
But you were undrafted though to the pros. You were an undrafted free agent. That's right. Yes. I always get those confused. Sorry.
Nice.
Actually, ironically enough, next episode we have the Retirement Association CEO of the National Bocce Ball coming on. So we're kind of doing like a retirement special week going into.
No. You know what? Look,
You probably know him. You saw him at like network meetings and stuff. I can't recall his name for the life of me, but
you know what? We all meet. All the association heads meet once a year.
Yeah.
And so I heard he was coming on next week.
Yeah.
He told me, he was like, look, dude, if you make sure you have a good conversation with these guys and let me know how it goes, because he doesn't want to get caught off guard.
Yeah.
No.
He's a great guy. Go ahead, sir.
Just being from Boston, Scott, I think we got a good candidate. Honestly, this is a serious question. Who he's been in the league for a few years. You guys probably have your eyes on Jaylen Brown a little bit. Is that safe to say? As in terms of like a guy who's like a good leadership role model for the rest of the league?
No, he's an excellent leader. And so you say we have our eyes on him. So he and Isaiah Thomas are very close. He and Isaiah Thomas have a really good mentor-mentee relationship. And Isaiah's actually brought him around us a few times. 2 summers ago during the NBA Summer League, we had our summer conference. And, Summer League has turned into this jamboree of all basketball.
Yeah.
And Jaylen spent a good amount of time around the retired players in the association, just organically hanging out, Top Golf, just talking with the guys and just figuring out, what the guys are about. And
just the normal exposure you were talking about.
It's got to be organic. Everything is forced in an athlete's life. Everything is forced. Everything is structured, and so if we can take away all that structure and just give organic information like that, that's the best thing. But credit to Jaylen, he was the only active player that really hung out with us in summer league and just chopped it up with guys and just part of this crew, part of the team. And so now seeing him do so much great work, it makes sense to us because he picked a great one as a mentor. Isaiah Thomas, Hall of Fame, top 5 all-time point guard, but in real life, outside of basketball, tremendous businessman, tremendous leader, community activist, all these types of things. And so, Jaylen's ahead of his time with a lot of those.
Definitely.
But, he's living in the way that you want to see active players live, and knowing that when he retires, yes. Am I going to call him? Say, man, look, we got a board seat open for you, Jay. We got to come on board. We got to do some more work together, right?
Yeah. Give us some time, Scott. Give us like 10 more years of prime JB, and then do whatever the hell you want with him. But
I'll tell you what. I'm hoping I'm around when that time he retires.
Yeah, that's fair.
If whoever's there, they better go get some Jaylen Brown, right?
Yeah, good point. He's like fucking 23 or 24 or some shit. What is Isaiah? That's a good point. What is Isaiah Thomas doing now? You mentioned he's a pretty successful businessman and stuff post career.
So Isaiah was one of the guys who really early out of his time in the league jumped into investing in businesses, and so he's got an upstart champagne company, Shoreline. It's not I'll say it's upstart. His involvement in it is really pushing the U.S. based market, but the company has been around for years and years and years. It's a French family he's gone into business with. He owns the grapes that come off the land in France, and he's building that business up. It's organic. He has a deal with us as retired players. He's working with the active players to get the word out. And so, he's been doing a lot in real estate all across the board. But his newest venture, he's also I know he's in the cannabis business as well. I'm not sure the name of the company, but he's always moving. He's always going.
I can see that.
Really is the best way for players who are accustomed to going during their season is to stay busy. He's doing those things. But no, love Isaiah, love the energy he brings. Isaiah's I'll say he was the first top 50 player of all time to come into our office and say, hey, I want to sit down with you all and talk through what I can do for the association.
Oh, that's dope. That's cool. No, he's a very obviously.
Matthew Johnson has been supportive, but Isaiah, during my time, called say, Scott, I'm in town. I want to sit down and talk with you. We said, all right, clear our schedules. Let's talk to Isaiah. Let's figure out what we can do.
Yeah. I mean, I would assume that's, I shouldn't say assume, but I can see how that's a commonality. I mean, these guys, like you mentioned earlier, they are driven, competitive people from the age of 6, right, to like 35. I find it very hard to believe someone's like, all right, I'm retired. I've made millions of dollars. I'm done. No way. Like they got to find something else to compete in. Business obviously is kind of the natural segue outside of competitive sports.
You got to keep moving. You have to keep moving. You have to keep going. For some guys now, it's not even about money. It's just about having something to do.
Exactly. Yep.
Or, let's be clear, let's stay in the hell out of the house, right? You've been a professional athlete your whole life. You've got a wife, you've got your kids. You like them, you love them, but shit, now you're with them every day.
Yeah.
And now you're figuring out you and your wife really don't like each other that much. You figure out the kids will drive you crazy. All right, now it's time to go.
Yeah. Pandemic 2020.
Yeah. I mean, when Soapy retired from bocce ball recently, correct me if I'm wrong, bro, you and your dog were like, you just had to get out of there. Like, you guys were at each other's throats.
Yeah, that became a love-hate relationship that I never would have seen coming down that way. It's unfortunate, but
what are you going to do?
The basketball season is 2 weeks long. Come on, man.
Yeah.
Stop
That's
playing.
fair. That's fair.
Stop playing.
Wanted to ask you about this. I think you kind of touched on it briefly earlier, but a mutual friend of the program, Trill Withers, Tyler, who now works with you guys, he's doing this thing with the Legends Live program, which is phenomenal. You mentioned the most is Karan Butler. That's the most recent episode, right? I think that was today. No.
Yeah, we taped that today.
Yeah. How did that relationship come about, and how did that kind of project get started?
Yeah, let me sit up for this one. So good one. No, you know what? So we were when we made a real effort to get into the media space about 2 years ago. We were working with some media professionals who connected us with mixtape. So we had our chairman at the time, Spencer Haywood, went on mixtape, and the guys would say, "Hey, we need to get you on. We need to get you on." So I knew of Tyler and Coley. I had I followed them, and I had basically followed and unfollowed Tyler about 4 times because it's like, man, this guy is funny. Then it's like, man, this dude's out of his mind. I'm not following. What the hell is he talking about? And then, you keep go back and forth, and it's like, all right, I like dude. He really has some fun stuff to say.
Yeah.
So eventually we worked it out where they say, Scott, you should go on mixtape. It just so happened that I was in New York, and it was funny because it was the day after the Red Sox won the World Series. So I'm in New York for NBA meetings. I go by the Barstool office, and Devlin jumps out. The old office of Barstool, literally, you get off the elevator, you're in the middle of their office.
Oh, okay.
So
yeah, it was always awkward. You enter, and then like Dave's desk is right to the right.
Right.
You're on like a Facebook Live video when you don't even know it.
So I've got these serious business meetings with Adam Silver and the NBA later that day. So I'm in a suit. And so I walk in with a suit. I got my luggage with me. I walk in. Everyone looks up like, who in the hell is this?
Who are these kids?
So Devlin jumps out. I was like, hey, what's up, Scott? We got you ready. You want a breakfast sandwich? He had these like bags of breakfast sandwiches for everybody in the corner. I was like, I'm good. I'm good.
Yeah.
So like, all right, where's my interview? They had like one interview room. So I go in, I sit down, I'm looking around. I'm like, all right, what's happening here? So again, let me remind you, the Red Sox won the World Series the night before. I don't think Coley woke up for another 2 days. So it's like, all right, cool. So I'll go on, and I'll give him a full pass on that. So you sit down, we do the interview, and it's the best interview I've ever done. Like, it's, and I'm looking at mixtape like, all right, you all about to be crazy. Like, what kind of crazy question we get? It was literally the best interview I've ever done. It was great questions. It was really, he'd done his research. We killed it that day.
Yep.
Left the offices, they gave me some merch and stuff. And I look at my phone and it's like, oh my God, phone's going crazy. Like, everyone loves this. I'm like, all right, it worked out well. And so we just talked about, from that point on, like, this fits. What you all do and your love for the game fits with what we're trying to do as an association and building just awareness around it. And we just vibed. And so after that interview, we had them come out to DC. We did a players party out in DC where we had, 20, 25 DC players coming. We just kind of chopped it up and had a community event. Those guys came out, did interviews. We had a great time. Tyler signing autographs. And we just kept building on that, man. And they're just good guys. Like, I was, heartbroken when Tyler left mixtape. I wasn't heartbroken when he left Barstool. I was heartbroken when he left mixtape because I knew that meant that he and Coley had to split what they were doing. Tyler left Barstool at the right time for the right reasons. And, and I still keep contact with people over there. And, Coley, I'll always ride with Coley and, Devlin and there are people over there who are just really good people. But when it was time for Tyler to go, we always stayed in contact. You know, he always came out. He came out the All-Star weekend with us in Charlotte. Came back out this year in Chicago, and just the vibe was there. The staff it was just a good vibe, and I believed in him, what he was trying to do. I didn't always feel as if he had some of the support that I wanted him to have, you know, because I see the talent and I see what he can do. And so when the things didn't work out at Barstool, again, we kept contact, and it was like, man, our players really love you. I love seeing how you work with the players. Let's get something going. And, you know, he had a lot of interest. I'm telling you, like when he left, everyone wanted to work with him. But I think the vibe went out. And I think we decided that we're going to do this together because it really does fit well. And look, he has a lot of different things going on. We weren't trying to do anything. We were going to hold him back. But I'll tell you this, I'm going to continue to try to find opportunities where we can do something together that takes him and our brand to the next level. Because, you know, I just, you know, just good people. You know, I mean, how many times does Tyler make you laugh a day?
Right.
Like, you know, multiple times. Well, that's the vibe we're looking for. We want people to come into what we're doing and make you enjoy, you know, the game of basketball, tell some fun stories, have a good time with it, and take all the stodginess out of it. Take all the, you know, the suit and tie, and well, tell us your take on this defense. No, talk about what happened in the locker room, and like who in the locker room slapped the shit out of you when you were rookie. Like, you know, those kind of stories, and that's the fun we want to have. Sometimes I have to tell Tyler, like, you know, hey man, like loosen up a little bit. Just because it's us doesn't mean you have to be so, you know, so formal, because that's what we want to have. And so, no, those guys are great guys. I've done mixtape a few times, and again, you know, having them with us now, it's just special for the players. Does it bring more attention from a different demographic? Absolutely. Does that demographic love basketball? Yes. And so the combination of the two is amazing.
Yeah, it's great. And that's a great point, because I mean, we were, I guess, fortunate enough to have Tyler jump on our show a few weeks back, a month back or so. And it's just like, one thing we've kind of not to go on like a tangent, but one thing we've realized since we kind of started this thing is there's a lot of people out there that are just genuine, yourself included, just genuine good dudes, like who have no reason to really, they're helping us out. You know what I mean? Like Tyler was cool enough to just hop on the show. We chopped it up for over an hour, and it's like, you know, looking back a year or so ago, we were talking, it's like, dude, like we'd listen to this guy's podcast. We'd follow him. Very entertaining. And then we literally just shot him a DM or two, and he's like, yeah, man, when y'all record, like, no problem. Let's do it. And it's very eye opening, I guess, to see like who some of the like quote unquote real ones out there are, who are just genuine good dudes who want to get their message out, who want to have a conversation, and not for nothing, just help people. And I think Tyler is the perfect, I think he fits your brand very well from what it sounds like after talking to you for a while, because he can talk basketball for 5 hours. He can also talk the most miscellaneous shit you can think of for the next 5 hours. And somehow,
and that was the whole point. It's like, today,
exactly.
You know, he and Ron didn't talk about ball today. They talked about what's happening in real life.
Sure.
Like today, I think our most viewed Legends Live was the day that the NBA players decided they weren't taking the court in the playoffs.
Yep. Right.
We were at the office. We're looking around. You know, we're looking at our phones like, oh shit, they're not going to take the court. So in my mind, I'm thinking about the business side of it. Like, damn, okay, there's a whole office full of people scrambling right now trying to figure out what this means. And you know, is it a boycott? Or is it a strike? The lawyer side of me is like, this is a strike. This is going to be bad. There's all these problems. Then you click out and go, okay, wait, there's no games tonight. Everyone is trying to figure out what the hell's going on. Let's talk about it.
Yeah.
So
and it started early too.
Players,
that was like during the matinee games. It's like a 1 o'clock tip off. It's like, oh shit.
We jumped on live and we talked about it. We talked about why the players weren't talking, why they weren't playing. The issues behind it. You had, you know, Sam Perkins jumped on with us, and we just talked. And you know, that was, to date, is our highest viewed show. Yeah. And so being topical like that was important, but you can't do that with just anybody. Right. You know, Tyler was the perfect guy, because Tyler will talk about anything with you, but at that moment, he knew exactly what questions to ask. And again, he and I do good interviews together because he'll pull it out of you. And you're like, damn, I'm doing this live stream with them talking about this, you know, social justice stuff, and I'm getting emotional. Like, all right, you on camera, man. You need to settle down and bring it down a little bit. But that's a good interviewer, right? That's someone who really brings it for you. That's what our players want, because our players want to talk about more than just basketball. They're more than just basketball players. Yeah. And so, yeah, I mean, I appreciate you bringing that up, because that's the vibe we're going for. We want to have fun. The players are more than just that. And if you all had an opportunity to sit in some of the conversations I sit in and listen to the stories they tell about each other, oh man, it's amazing. Like it literally stuff that you could write a book about and ruin people's lives. It's that good. It's great. I mean, the beefs that players still have to this day. We've been around players where they'll tell you, like, to this day, I can't be in the same room with that guy. Well, really? Well, tell me why not? And then they go through it all and they get amped up, and it's like, this is real. This is really great. Or you hear about the guys who are rookies.
Excuse me.
Who? I don't get involved in that. Look, I'm a Chicago guy, right? I born and bred Chicago, Bulls fan.
Yes.
I watched that drama and that beef happen. And it was like, you watch the Detroit team beat up on Superman and everyone, who is greatest to you. And then you finally get over that hump and you're like, yeah, those guys aren't that bad anymore. Now that shit stays with you. And so when Isaiah first came in the office and sat down and talking business, I'm thinking, damn, this is wild. Like,
yeah, we're not open.
He's a Chicago guy. So he's a Chicago guy at heart.
Yeah.
And so he's constantly dealing with this. And it's like, and that was like 30 years ago. Like, why are people still like so, heated? And there was one time in particular where, guys were doing media. This is like, I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago. Guys were doing media and his name was coming up. And, he always kept it professional, always kept it there. But I know in his mind, he was thinking, why are we still dealing with this? And then fast forward to The Last Dance.
Yeah.
And, we know what's coming in The Last Dance. And then watching him be on the show, be in the documentary to talk through it, that was the ultimate sign of character. And I'll tell you why. We were involved in getting players to do interviews. So we set up some of them, and there's a lot of interviews on the cutting room floor, but we were very active in providing space and time for players to do their interviews.
Oh, wow.
There are a lot of players you didn't see in that documentary. There are a lot of players who did not sit down, who would not sit down.
So were you were contacted by the Last Dance people?
Yeah.
That's what you're talking about? Wow.
So it's an ESPN production. The NBA is heavily involved.
Yeah, true.
So we were, during All-Star Weekend in Charlotte, they reached out and said, hey, we know you're going to have 100 or so guys there. Can we get some interviews done? And so, the team put together a studio for them. They came in, they did some of those interviews at our space at All-Star Weekend. And that's not out of the blue. A lot of people do that. We have a media day at All-Star where, we bring in probably 15 to 20 outlets. You guys act right. We may have you all come out, if we ever get All-Star Weekend back. But we were doing that, right?
Yeah, that was a thing. Yeah.
And so, but they were asking us, hey, can you line these guys up? Calling them, hey, doing a Jordan documentary, and we want to, have you interviewed. And the question is, well, why? Well, we talk about the era.
Yeah.
And there were guys who said, I don't want to talk about Mike. There were guys who said, I've done enough for him, or I'm tired of talking about it. Or
man, I'm Chris Mullin. I'm tired of talking about this shit.
Yeah.
But the person who took the most criticism.
That's a very good point. That's a very good point.
On that documentary.
Man, that's a great point. No Patrick Ewing, no John Starks, no Pacers guys outside of Reggie, right? I'm just trying to think. Karl Malone wasn't on the show.
Mark Jackson wasn't on it, I don't think. And he's a huge, obviously, media guy, works for ESPN.
That's a phenomenal point. I didn't even think about. You think you're just so focused on the memes and the shit that comes out with people who were on the show. You don't think about the guys who didn't want anything to do with it. That's a really good point.
And please believe everyone was asked.
Oh, I bet. Oh, yeah.
Everyone was asked.
I bet.
And so, yeah. So, when you look at it like that, and you want to question Isaiah's integrity.
Yep.
He stood in there. He stood in there and you know what? He gave his shots as well. And he said it.
Yep.
He deserved to have certain things.
I mean, he was the only Piston, right?
I have to remove any judgment or any thought from that. And I look at it and just go, yeah, that's solid, man.
Yeah.
That's solid.
He was the only real Piston that had like a real sit down, right?
I think John Sally was on it too.
Oh, John Sally was. John Sally was. Yep. John Sally was. No Lambeer. No,
Rodman.
I guess that's it. Well, yeah, but not as a Piston.
Right. You remember, the Pistons had their own 30 for 30.
Yeah, good point. That's true. That's true.
So
just take what we did
that down twice. You know, there wasn't a version of the ESPN 30 for 30. We didn't want to talk about that subject.
And that was a big part. That's a good point. That was a big part of not a big part, but that was a part of the Bad Boys documentary, the Jordan rules and all that shit. So you're right. Just green screen my background and just take the take I gave you a couple of years ago. My thoughts haven't changed.
Right.
So Scott, earlier you mentioned, Tyler, one of his greatest things is just being able to ask off the cuff questions.
Mm-hmm.
We try to do that a little bit on here, have a little fun. So I thought that was the perfect transition to
fun in the middle of a pandemic. God,
you're
irresponsible.
I know.
I've been waiting for it. You know, I'm my suit and tie on for this interview. Come on.
All right. So you being a Chicago guy, I'm going to get right to the nitty gritty. Being a Chicago guy, you obviously still pay attention to like the present day game, right? In the league and everything.
To a certain extent, yeah.
Okay. Wendell Carter, he averaged 11 points, 9 rebounds last year. I don't know if you saw this. He's been putting shots up on Twitter too. See that?
Yeah. I've seen that. Yes, I have.
Thoughts on how he handled the situation?
You know, in situations like this, we have a handbook, and it kind of talks us through how to handle these type of situations with players and things. And I've memorized this top of my head. I know it for sure. It is shooters shoot. That's it.
Fair, very fair.
Shooters shoot.
I think Dan's got one.
No, that's it. You mentioned thoughts and Wendell Carter shooting a shot at thoughts, and here we are. And I don't know who that was. Who was that? That was like an OnlyFans model or something?
I think she was like a rapper and artist, Justina Valentine, something like that.
Gotcha.
But I think it actually did come out to be that he was hacked because he was also sending the same message to Saquon Barkley. And it was just, hey, check your DM, check your DM, check your DM.
Yeah.
Is that real?
No, you know what?
Yeah.
I've seen people get hacked that same way. But even if he hadn't been hacked, he's a shooter, right?
Yeah.
He is.
And it is the summer. And actually off season or in season, 'tis the season.
If anyone is going to take that shot on Instagram, it's going to be an NBA player.
Oh, that's not even a question. Yeah.
There's a level of confidence that is unmatched in any pro sports.
Yeah. Most of the time it's J.R. Smith.
I feel like J.R. Smith mostly does it. And again, I like, we know each other. We're cool, but I don't know him that well. I feel like most of his stuff is straight to DM. I don't think he publicly does it. Unless I just haven't seen him publicly do it.
Wait. No. I've got the book here. Hold on. Give me a second. Oh, under shooter. Oh, I see JR's picture.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Then he is literally the picture of open forum shooting your shot.
For the audio listeners, Scott did pull out a very thick
very thick.
Not watching the video.
Damn. Let's do this. Let's transition to some music real quick.
What's up?
You've been hearing what we've had to say, so I assume your hearing is fine and you listen to music and some whatever free time you might have. Mm-hmm. You're a Chicago guy. Chicago's known for some good music, no pun intended. Are you a Kanye guy? Are you other Chicago-based guys? What's Scott Rochelle's music choice look like?
It doesn't look very Chicago, I'll tell you that right now.
Okay.
I was gonna say if you said Chance the Rapper, we were gonna end this real quick.
You don't like Chance the Rapper? Wait. Oh, we never talked about this, bro.
Wow, yeah, I know.
No, I'm just messing with you. I'm just messing.
You have a legitimate beef with Chance?
No. We squashed it.
It's a bocce beef. It's a long story.
I was gonna say 5'7", 5'8 1/2. I want to see that matchup right there.
Bro, it was close.
Yeah, they threw hands a little bit,
No,
but
Yeah, what's on your iPod or iPhone?
So you know what?
It's on your iPod, Scott.
So the word must be out then that you know I have an iPod. I also use a BlackBerry. I'm old school like that.
Oh shit. Mm-hmm. Old school businessman. Mm-hmm. Respect it.
You know what? I need the buttons.
Yeah.
I need the buttons so that, you know what I'm saying, if I'm falling asleep at night and I grab the phone, I'm just it's good. But no, you know what? I just downloaded a couple. So you know what? I'm gonna admit this, St. John. I've been vibing to dance music, especially for workouts. It's just like I think to some good dance music,
like house music, like EDM
you know
music.
What?
Gotcha.
Yeah, house music, a little bit of techno.
Okay.
This pandemic has put me in a position where I just want to like zone out and get lost in my thoughts.
Yes.
So
it's better than reality. So
doing a lot of dance and music like that just to doing a workout or something. But Busta Rhymes just dropped. I downloaded it, have not listened to it yet. Full disclosure.
New Busta Rhymes?
What's up?
A new Busta Rhymes just dropped?
Yes.
Speaking of retired players, I didn't know that.
Yeah, news to me.
Come on, man. Let's go. Music. You know what? As a matter of fact, I think the two of you all probably in elementary school the last time you dropped an album. I'm going to give you a pass on that.
It's possible. A, I'll take the compliment, and B, that's certainly possible.
Yeah, right. But you know what I'm saying? Benny the Butcher, Freddie Gibbs, all those guys right now. I'm giving them a chance because I think they're making good music. Okay. I think that we for a long time we just had that's really shit music.
Yep, that's fair.
We had little this, little that. And, these, they're crying and whining on the record, and it's like this isn't good music. Those guys are making good music, so I'm gonna give it a chance and vibe to it. But it's a situation for me where I like the old school, and so I got Public Enemy rotating. Okay. Especially for the time period, I think the Public Enemy, I think they missed an opportunity right now to really be out front. You got rappers just kind of falling over themselves. Rappers have had a really bad showing in the public, especially in politics as of late. I think like Chuck D, you get a snippet of Chuck D from you all know who Chuck D is, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Just making sure. If you get Chuck D at any time in history in his music career, you take a soundbite from him, it'll be relevant today. It would make sense today. Yeah. And so I've been enjoying that piece as well.
Okay. So
boy, did you set Dan up.
So speaking of rappers and politics, I think we saw you recently tweet something about speaking of Lil and speaking of rappers and politics, Lil who was it, Soapy? Lil Dwayne?
Lil William or something?
Lil Wayne had his photo op with I don't have CNN on right now. As of right now, the current president of the United States, Donald Trump. And then you went back and forth with someone, and somehow No Ceilings got brought up. It sounds like you're a fan of the actual mixtape, No Ceilings by Lil Wayne. Mm-hmm. What are some of your go-to tracks? That is a dope mixtape. I enjoy it as well. I'm with you. Let me ask you this, without getting too into politics, what were your thoughts on just scrolling your Twitter feed like you probably do every afternoon, seeing that picture, and then part two, if you want to talk about some of your favorite joints off No Ceilings.
Okay, yeah. So look, prior to Barack Obama getting into office, Donald Trump was basically just the personification of get money, success, business. Mm-hmm. And those things are always going to line up.
And bad hair.
We had noticed back pre-2008, but now you're absolutely right. And so we were just talking, we were always talking about Donald Trump in the same sentence of get money, right?
Dollars. Yeah, definitely.
So and I watched The Apprentice. I enjoyed The Apprentice. But why did I watch it? Because I was like, man, I wish I could be in this show because I want to get money. Like, you want to learn business from this guy. Because at the point, I thought that he represented what all that was. Yeah. During that time period, we grew up thinking that that was the gold standard of business. And so some of these rappers and some of the people and the celebrities who are rocking with him now, some are legit friends. I've been around people that literally say, I can't stand his politics, but he's a lot of fun to be around. I believe that.
Okay.
I think some people have passed who've been friends with him before all this.
Mm.
But after he started talking crazy about Barack Obama, I changed my opinion. I was like, this guy's an asshole. And he really is stepping out of the zone of where he should be if he wants to maintain his position as somebody we look up to. Not everyone else did that. Not everyone else cares. Mm-hmm. So, there's a lot of jokes going on about Biden's tax plan and who it impacts. It's not going to impact me, right? But if I have millions of dollars, I may care about that. I get it. The problem with rappers and hip hop is this: there are times when they should just take a step back and not lead if they don't know what's happening. They don't always know that. They don't always know where that line is.
Right.
So when you get a call from the president and it's, we want you to come out and hang out, in their mind is thinking, I came from this position in life. I've never had anything. I've made myself. I'm a self-made dude. Donald Trump in their mind is self-made. So I'm gonna get with him because what could go wrong?
Yeah.
And then you see a fucking picture of him.
Good amount.
Days before the election, it's like you got used. Yeah. That's the worst that could happen. You literally got used. But I'll tell you what, right now, not one celebrity or hip hop artist who has endorsed Donald Trump or been with him impacted any fucking votes.
Yeah, I agree. I think you could argue, and then Eminem comes right back and drops a Joe Biden endorsement like the day before. I think that was like Sunday or Monday, and he takes Michigan.
He dropped a Donald Trump diss track back in 2016.
Yeah.
So
that's true. Good
the
call.
BET cipher.
Yes, good call.
Look, rappers are entertainers.
Yeah,
they rap.
Yeah.
We have to stop expecting people to do things outside of their role and their lane in our lives.
Yeah.
And for those those people who listen to the rappers and voted by what the rapper said, God bless them. Let's hope they never vote again.
It's Lil Wayne. It's like rap. I agree with you in general, but I think Lil Wayne makes it even worse. And I like Lil Wayne, but it's like, do I think Lil Wayne is caught up in foreign affairs and tax policies as the average guy? I'm leaning no. I just don't think so. There's a great, I think I sent you this, Soapy. There was a great one from I think it was Michael Shea on SNL, like the news update he does. And he's like, let's also keep in mind Lil Wayne pours cough syrup in his Sprite. So what do we really know?
No, you're absolutely right. So take the messaging. on Monday, Lil Wayne tells you to, do foul things to women, pour cough syrup, pass out, rage, and punch people in the face. And then by Friday, he's telling you to vote for this guy.
Yeah.
No, you know what?
I don't see the issue.
I hate to be an old fogey here, but my weeks are like Lil Wayne's weeks.
Mm-hmm.
So if on Friday he's telling me to vote for Donald Trump, I'm probably not going to do that because I haven't done what he's done Thursday, Wednesday, Tuesday, Monday, any of that stuff anyway, right?
Yeah. Okay, I got you. So let's go back to the music, because I think it is important to try to keep them separated.
Yeah.
When we've talked about this before, I think I think there's certain artists who have had hard drop-offs. I think you could argue Kanye has. I think you could argue Lil Wayne has. I think there's a hard drop-off with Lil Wayne. I think it's right up towards when he put out like rock and roll album or whatever it was. His mixtapes are always fire. You mentioned No Ceilings.
Yeah.
Is that something you still play now? Like, are there old tracks off old Wayne albums or mixtapes in general, or no? Because I'm pretty sure you said No Ceilings was GOAT, right?
It was. I'll tell you, if I think through what's rotating through the music right now, absolutely no Lil Wayne. You know what?
Mm-hmm.
I'll tell you, some of the best Lil Wayne was back 99, 2000.
Yeah.
Hot Boys,
yeah.
So his verse on Bling Bling comes up. I let that ride.
Yep.
Things like that. Again, I go back to what's classic, what's really good to me.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest with you, I may have to pull some Wayne off of there just because when I hear his music now, I'm thinking about him in a stupid sweater sitting next to Cheeto Man. And it's like, God damn.
Not great optics. Yeah, I agree.
Scott, favorite Kanye album?
You know what? I think Yeezus is my favorite.
Wow.
Really?
Hot take.
Okay.
Scorching take.
Yeah.
Favorite.
Look, here's the thing. I'm not. I was never the biggest Kanye fan.
Right.
Part of that, I vibe with him because he's from Chicago, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I like his early production very early on. Do I think he's like pound for pound one of the greatest rappers ever? Absolutely not. But I think the composition of his music and what he puts together is really good. You know, for some reason, I'll tell you, I first listened to Yeezus around the same time, and not to get all morbid and deep on it, but when George Zimmerman, the news that George Zimmerman had been acquitted came out, and I had Yeezus going, and for some reason, it took me out of that crazy space where I was thinking, man, this, you know, like 2020, looking forward to 2016, 2020, anything can happen, right? But I was like, damn, this guy can kill this kid and get off, and it's gonna be all right. And so Yeezus was running during that time, and there was a couple jams on there. I was like, all right, I like this Kanye, but it was I think it was more the meaning behind it and not the music. So
sure,
I'm not gonna give Kanye too much burn and too much credit from this point on because he's different now.
He's built different.
He's built different.
Another Chicago thing here. You're a White Sox fan, right?
Yeah. I get down the Sox.
Speaking of retired people, what's up with Tony Larussa being hired as a manager there?
Speaking of old white guys.
Yeah. What's going on with that, man?
You know, we were having a good interview. Just, you know,
I think my Wi-Fi is getting a little spotty.
Right. You know, and you bring this to us. You know what? Here, look. I'm not gonna say too much because this is a professional sports organization in my city that, you know, who knows, one day I may be interviewing with them for a job or something, but
that's fair. Fair.
But damn, Jerry Reinsdorf, man, he likes his friends, and he you know, Jerry Reinsdorf calls the shots in the city. And I'll say this, you saw parts of that in The Last Dance where Reinsdorf is boss. And I'm sure there are many people at the White Sox organization that were just saying, no, don't do it. No, he did it. Okay, all right, well, let's make the best of it. And I think that's the feeling right now as well. All right, well, we'll make the best of it. The difference is with Reinsdorf is that he always held the White Sox here and the Bulls here.
Yeah.
He got 6 rings with the Bulls, but when
so
he got
bizarre.
the World Series, he let everyone know this is the championship that mattered. And I felt like this year we had turned a corner, a little playoff baseball. It didn't really work out for us, but it was like we look good and we look like we're gonna do some things. And then here we go. So,
it is quite a discrepancy between legit young talent and a rather old manager. And I guess the good news is, I guess for Larussa's case, is like he's respectable. You know, he's a respectable major league manager. Is he in the Hall of Fame? Has he been retired enough long? So he's a Hall of Fame manager. So it's not like you can just like shit on this guy. But I can't quite see Tim Anderson and Tony LaRussa just chopping it up, playing a little MLB The Show. You know what I mean? Talking about baseball strategy and how he wants them to approach the 3-1 count and things of that nature.
They won't be sharing iPod playlists. I know that.
I don't think so.
Look, you know what? I've been in this business long enough, and I've observed enough to know that I don't know what the hell's going on inside of it.
Yeah.
And look, there could be people who are smart enough, who are knowledgeable enough to know that this may be the best thing that Tim Anderson needed.
True.
We don't know.
We'll see.
But at first glance, you know, all the Chicago media, everyone's just kind of going, "Oh, like this doesn't make sense."
Yes.
There are people who paid a lot of money to do their jobs and figure this piece out, and they could be onto something here.
Yeah,
we'll let it play. We have no other choice.
Yeah, that's fair.
Chicago sports is going to be in a strange space for the foreseeable future. So,
yes. and I will.
we'll get spark every once in a while. Boom, here we get championship. We got spoiled. We had a what, an 8-year run with the Bulls just killing.
Mm-hmm.
Blackhawks winning every other year.
Yep.
This is our time to relax and let the rest of the people get a little bit. And so I think we're okay with that.
You had the second best athlete to ever wear the number 23. Like, you guys had everything going for you.
You know what? And I felt very blessed growing up in Chicago because I had Walter Payton as the running back. Michael Jordan was, shooting guard. I'm thinking, damn, like, does every city have this?
Yeah. No, they don't.
No, they did. They did.
No.
We quickly learned. I mean, look, Walter Payton, we're a Super Bowl. Then the Bulls get together, we're running. I'm like, man, this is every year. We have something going. So now every year we have nothing going.
Yeah.
It's okay because Chicago has become the city of low expectations across the board.
Yeah. 2000 hit you guys
when you have high expectations.
Yeah. Y2K hit you guys pretty hard outside of like the Cubs World Series and some Blackhawks stuff. Boy, we thought they were going to hit like computer servers or whatever the actual Y2K thing was. They just fucked Chicago up for the next like 15 years. But
apparently the lowest expectations came with those Bulls alternate jerseys.
Oof.
Those things are trash.
Poo-poo.
Oh.
You don't like those, do you?
Oh, no.
Any jersey outside like anything Mike wore is blasphemous. Like,
yeah.
Why? Why do you need those?
Because Nike.
I
mean,
that's true.
Nike,
fucking capitalism.
Him out. I'm not going to shit on the city edition jerseys because other cities have dope ass jerseys.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Like
your city doesn't. And neither do ours, to be honest with you.
Look, the Minnesota Prince jerseys, amazing.
Yeah, those are dope.
Look at everything Miami's done, amazing.
Yep.
And then we get our flag on the jersey.
Yeah. And you guys also had those. I think it was. I don't think we can say there was never a Dwayne Wade era in Chicago, right? Well, let's say when Dwayne Wade happened to play on the Bulls, you had those gray sleeve jerseys too.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, exactly. Those like trash bags pulled over. Yeah, those weren't great. What are the city jerseys this year coming out? They're the ones with like you said, it's the flag, right? It's like that light blue.
Yeah.
Whatever it is.
My guess, stars. I think they can like white, a white base with the flag, and then a black base with the flag. So this year they probably have the baby blue base with the flag.
Oh, that's the other one. Yeah. Oof. Hideous.
Who knows?
Not great.
Again, some cities have high expectations.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, there you are. Let's wrap up here. I know we're coming up on time. I did want to touch on one quick thing because I think it's important. Kind of going back to the more serious stuff we're talking about with everything you're doing with the your association. There's been a lot of news lately. I don't know if it's news, but just developments lately with Delonte West and some of the great rehab that we've seen with him. I think it's kind of started with Mark Cuban, right? So he was one of the bigger names to outreach. But what are your thoughts on someone like that who went from he won a ring? No, did he win a ring with Cleveland? He was a high profile name. He was a high profile NBA player. There were some videos that came out that made him look, pretty down on his luck.
I think he got his ring with Dallas.
Oh, okay. Well, that too. Yeah. Okay. But anyway, I mean, a high-profile NBA name, and then there's fucking TMZ-like videos coming out, like this guy's homeless and a crackhead and all this other bullshit. And now it looks like the NBA is legit trying to help this dude. What were your thoughts on that story, those developments? And, we'd like to hear from you specifically as, the head honcho with the Retirement Association.
I'm trying to figure out where I start here.
Okay.
I want to give Mark Cuban credit.
Okay.
I want to give Mark Cuban credit because Mark Cuban got Delonte West over the goal line.
Mm-hmm.
But there was a whole 99-yard drive that involved a lot of people who people don't know about, who people don't talk about,
mm-hmm.
who worked very, very hard to get him to that point. I'm going to say this. Delonte West is one of a number of players who has had trouble, but who's received help from the support that exists in the NBA, in the NBPA, in the NBRPA, and other entities that no one's ever heard of. And so what hurt me the most when I saw the videos come out was that people are going to look at those videos and go, oh my God, everyone's forgotten about Delonte. Look what the NBA has done. They've thrown him out.
Yep.
That's not the case. It was never the case. Delonte's had substance abuse as well as mental health issues. The two have gone hand in hand, and they've been well documented and well known for quite some time. People have been working on his behalf to help him tirelessly. And again, I want to say this because there are people you've never heard of. There are people who you do not know who have been working their ass off. We help a lot of players, and no one knows about it. No one knows the player goes into rehab or goes into these type of services. Mark Cuban, again, got the ball at the goal line and stumbled across and helped him do that. I give him credit because we were at the goal line and couldn't get him across on certain things. But for people to always, for there to be a narrative that no one did anything, everyone just sat back and let Delonte fall into this, and then Mark Cuban came in, that's not the case. So there's credit for Mark Cuban for finishing off, because I don't think anyone else could have done it, but there's so many people involved who've been working for years to help on this. I'll also say this, the center that Delonte is in is a center that's, first of all, run by a former NBA player, Jason Williams. You may have heard of him. There are three Jason Williams.
Yeah.
This is the Jason Williams that had a really hard fall off with his court case, going to prison for a short period of time.
New Jersey Nets, Jason Williams?
Right? Yes.
Yeah, gotcha.
Yes, New Jersey Nets, Jason Williams. Okay. He has been active in helping players for years. He's our partner at the NBRPA. Mm-hmm. We have been championing that service and what he's been doing for quite some time. So shout out to Jason Williams for really coming through and being there. Jason's been ready for Delonte and a lot of players for quite some time. And so, a group effort happened, and Mark Cuban pushed over the goal line, but really the main person who really did the most work, the most important work here, was Delonte. The ball has been in his court, no pun intended, for quite some time. And I want to use his case as an example, because there are people who are, again, working diligently, helping players. Delonte is a big name, and you see him on TMZ. There are other players who have these situations, and people step up and do tremendous work on their behalf. I'll tell you this, Keon Dooling, he's been working with players and helping. And when we have a player who's having a mental health crisis, Keon Dooling has stepped up and jumped in and done tremendous work. And he's working with the PA, he's working with us because he's a retired player. And so, look, these issues happen. Sometimes they're much more amplified because these are high-name players, but these issues happen. What I don't want people to believe is that once you're done with the NBA is done with you. There's a Players Association, there's a Retired Players Association that's here, and we're working all the time for those type of situations. So I saw some of the videos and things that come out today for Delonte, and I always smile because I know that he's in a great place and he's getting better now. But I'm going to take my time on this podcast to say right now for everyone that no one ever gave up on him. No one ever decided that he was just going to be tossed out. He decided that he was going to take advantage of what was there for him. And so now we have this coming together for him getting better.
Yeah. No, that's great insight, man. That's crazy. And I hope I wasn't, I'm just approaching it as this is what I've seen. And unfortunately, until you listen to what you just said, that's probably the common narrative of what people think. So, so that's some great insights from someone who actually knows what the hell's going on with a lot of this stuff. And not for nothing, sounds like Delonte West, we mentioned he's one of the bigger names in this type of instance. Sounds like he's not unique in what might happen to some of these dudes, at least, in general.
You get someone who has a mental health problem.
Yeah.
You get someone who has substance abuse issues. And thankfully, those numbers are going down for our population, especially in the substance abuse, because we've had players who've been able to handle the transition, the identity crisis, and find better ways to deal with it and cope. Mm-hmm. But they do happen. Again, the support is there and people really do care. Again, if a player knows where they're going to go once they're done playing, who they're going to be and where they're going to be around, where their community is, much better chance of them not falling into those isms, I call it, alcoholism, all those type of things, and really being supported. But yeah, you know what? Our phones ring off the hook when something like that happens, and people call us and they say, "Hey, where's so and so?" We've got 12 chapters around the country. The beauty of who we are and what we can do is that if something happens in any city, I can call a guy in that city who's a leader amongst the men in that city and say, "Hey, so and so is having trouble. He's going to get put out of his place, or something's happening. Hey, give him a call, come over, help him." And the players jump on it because they're a family and they understand that now everyone walks away from this game in the best position, and life happens. These people are just like everyone else. The problem is that, if either of you had a situation, you got a DUI next weekend, none of us would know it.
Right.
These guys get popped, TMZ is there. And you'd be surprised how easy it is for someone in an emergency room or a booking center to call TMZ and get a $2,000 payout for saying, "Hey, so-and-so is here." Trust me, we get it because we get the calls to verify this stuff. And 9 times out of 10, it's all bullshit. But people want to have that fun story of, "Oh, this person had all these millions of dollars. Yeah, he's fucked up." Yeah, he's just like everyone else.
Right.
He just matters more than everyone else because he's been a player.
He's got a name.
And you want to jump on that.
Yep. No, that's crazy. That's sad.
You gotta ask me another question. You can't end on that shit, man. Come on.
All right, fine.
So
really twist my arm. 2 retired players that we haven't heard from in a long time: Paul Pierce and Kendrick Perkins. Any idea what they're up to?
The best part about the professional athlete is their confidence, right?
Yeah.
I see you putting your Boston up there.
We've seen enough, sir.
Yeah. Those two are enjoying the transition into broadcasting, and the fact that they commentate and speak on the game with crazy confidence.
Yes,
and
that's a good way to put it.
We all log in and tune in because they do that. And for better or for worse, people talk about them being wrong or being off on these things or being self-centered. What else do you want from an athlete?
Right.
I don't want an athlete to get on the camera and go, "Well, he may have been better than me. He had more points." No, tell me you would bust his ass. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like
yeah, give us the real answer.
Yeah.
The minute Paul Pierce tells me that LeBron was better than him, I'm turning the TV off because I don't want to hear that.
Right.
Any competitor is going to say that. We get mad at Paul Pierce for believing that he's the best player to walk this earth. Paul Pierce played as if he felt he was the best player to walk the earth. I want him to keep that same energy. He does that. Kendrick Perkins is different. Kendrick really does come from a real cerebral, like, think through the game perspective. When as a big, no one expects you to do that. No one expects the bigs to be the guys who are thinking through and giving real analysis. He does that and it kind of fucks everybody up. Everybody's like, "Oh my God, Kendrick Perkins, that was profound." But everyone's like, "They're awful, they're crazy."
Yeah.
Right or wrong, they bring their energy in and we love it. So I would expect to not see them on TV in the near future because we're tuning in to see it.
Yeah.
Shout out to Paul Pierce and Kendrick Perkins. The old Celtics keep the mouse moving, even though the Celtics can't keep it moving.
Oh, come on, bro.
Yeah.
We're gonna end on that bullshit.
Wow.
I was gonna say, what's great about Kendrick Perkins on Twitter is you nailed it. Like, he'll talk about anything, because I'll click on the president will tweet and I'll click on replies and there he is. And then 5 seconds later, LeBron will tweet. I'll click on replies. There he is. And then, I don't know, some businessman will tweet and Perk is right there as well. So he's active. He's doing
He's very consistent too. He always politely suggests that you carry on.
Yeah.
Very consistent.
He'll get his word out, ask you to, you nailed it, politely carry on. And then you look up and he's on Get Up or The Jump or whatever the fucking other shows are on right now. So I don't know. It actually makes me think, like, you working in what you do for a living, do you see, is that like right now, is that like the number when players retire? Is it like, I want to be on TV or I want to be a broadcaster? Is that like the most popular post-career kind of transition you think guys kind of want to do right now?
It was,
or is like the Silicon Valley type of thing much more appealing
it
now?
was always one of the options: coach, broadcast,
coach,
or front office. The difference is now with social media, it's been easier to break into it because you can create your own voice.
Yeah.
You can get on your phone and you can let people know. In the past, you had to get training, go to broadcast boot camp, get someone to give you a shot.
Yep.
And then when we have that shot, then you make it. Then you may fall into a rotation of seasonal commentating, and then you get into the job. Yeah. Now, guy can pick up a phone, start a podcast, or just comment on things, and then they've taken their brand and their awareness up to where we listen to them. So I think that it's growing because the access has grown so much. It's like the traditional models who are all pissed off on Instagram because everyone's a model now. Everyone's a commentator.
Yeah. No, it's a good point. I mean, anyone can retire now with 200,000 Twitter followers or Instagram followers. You have a business right there. You have ads. You literally retired with ad space right there.
Absolutely.
Which is interesting. Yeah, they didn't really get, and we've talked about this before, talking about the Last Dance and stuff like that. Just how much more crazy that era would be if it happened in the Twitter era, or like what Mike would be like on Twitter or Instagram, or maybe Dennis Rodman's a better example. But like just following that type of like basketball with fights, with physicality, and with a team as globally insane as the Chicago Bulls. Now you extrapolate that on social media, it's like maybe it's too much. I don't know, but it's just crazy the opportunity that the natural opportunity that a lot of these guys have just for speaking their mind on a social media platform.
You know, if I had my way and the cosmos works the way it's supposed to, you'll see a lot more of those guys on TV and hear a lot more from them, especially through some of the things we're doing at Legend Studios and Legend. Because the whole point of what we're trying to do is to give those guys the platform, and the guys who have the voice but not the training, bring the training into it and let them go. So we get more Paul Pierces and Kendrick Perkins and hopefully somebody who didn't play for the Celtics who could talk about some real rings, you know?
Yeah, no shit. My goodness. Yeah. They got 17.
Yeah.
How many more you want?
Well, I
since I've been alive.
16 of them happened before you were born.
I know. I was just going to say one since I've been alive, but who's counting? Yeah. Go ahead, Soap. I'm demoralized.
Well, I guess we'll sign off on that note.
Last time you all had me on this podcast.
Yeah, no shit.
No, Scott, that was tremendous. Obviously,
for real.
We took you over the time, but before we sign you off, can you just remind everyone, where they can find you and everything that you're involved in?
Absolutely. I'm at Scott Rochelle, SCOTTROCHELLE on all platforms. Don't go to my Facebook because there's nothing going on there, but Instagram, Twitter, I'm there daily having a good time.
Great Twitter follow.
At NBA alumni, all platforms there. And, we're interfacing with our fans, our members there. Come on Thursdays, 5 p.m. Eastern for Legends Live, catching Tyler doing his thing there, and then podcast dropping probably once every couple of weeks. So a lot going on. Happy to to share with you all and bring the Legends to life with you guys. And if you ever want to talk through some Legends and get some of the guys on the show, let us know. I'll send a few text messages on my BlackBerry.
However you get them there, bro. That'd be big respect. And tell our friend Tyler we said hello as well. We'd love to have him back sometime soon. But yeah, Scott Rochelle, go follow him. Great Twitter follow. You're doing some great work, man. And I appreciate you taking some time to chop it up with us tonight, man. Don't forget, Scott. Dan's a large. I'm a medium, but the sleeves have to be like really big because biceps or whatever. And if you guys have an event in Boston, I'll shoot you my email address. Not a big deal.
Shit, man.
That's respect.
I had you squared away until I remembered all the players' kids took the mediums and larges. No, I'm not lying. I'm actually being serious there. Yeah,
I wear a men's XL. I wear adult size clothes. So I don't know if you ordered like some youth sizes just in case. But if you have any of those in like any of those cabinets behind you, just throw one Soap's way and he'll fit into it. You got your Peloton on the way, so you're good. You'll sweat yourself into it. Scott Rochelle, thank you, brother, man. This was a lot of fun.
Thank you guys.